So Rise of the Dark Realms being cast, and that does land, so now I've got some indestructible flyers. A huge thank you to Ramsey McCarthy for his support on Patreon. Continuing with Crimson Vow, we have Olivia Crimson Bride this time, up against Nicol Bolas, Geist of Saint Traft, and Alila. Yeah, some ramp there, some pretty heavy cards, but hopefully we can discard those and reanimate them. This is a generic reanimator list, so yeah, hopefully be able to get that going. Well, getting off to a lightning start over here, Nicol Bolas has both the fast pieces of mana that you'll see on MTG Online in Commander, in Mana Crypt and Sol Ring, and then going down to 4 cards, search for Azcanta. So pretty damn good start from them. We get into another heavy hitter in Rise of the Dark Realms, unfortunately. So argument to be made for us passing and discarding a big spell here, in the hope that we draw into Reanimator. Yeah, we'll not tempt fate, I'll just go for the tap land and pass. More fast mana from Alila. It is a Mana Crypt over there into a Lightning Greaves. Still a few turns away from their commander though, because they do need the 3 colours for Alila. Putting a Vandal Blast in the bin from the Search for Azcanta, and a turn 2 Haunt of Hightower. Well, there we are, up against some white players here, so hopefully they can remove that. We just keep drawing into the heavy hitters, unfortunately. They're not getting into any of the discard effects. Let's go for the Rakdos Signet. Mystic Remora from the Alila player. And Geist of Saint Traft coming into play here. Luckily, I don't think we're looking like anywhere close to a threat, so shouldn't have to worry about that just yet. We might actually be able to make use of this Haunt of Hightower. If it swings in at us, then we'll be able to discard some big stuff. They go for Quest of the Nilestone. Yeah, so they are wanting us to discard stuff. We've got a Strip Mine in play as well. Attacking the Alila player, so forcing them to discard a Command Beacon. They go down to 3 cards in hand. A counter on Quest for the Nilestone. And there we have a Panharmonicon, so something to do on turn 4 at least, assuming we can't do anything else. So we'll go for Arcane Signet. That will have our opponent draw with Mystic Remora. And then we might as well get down this Bloodghast as well. Could have kept hold of that maybe for some discard fodder, but I don't think it particularly matters when we've got a loaded hand that we want to discard anyway. Alila, Artful Provocateur coming into play there, and they do have the Lightning Greaves for that, letting the Mystic Remora go down, which is noteworthy. Actually didn't notice that a Damnation has gone down from Nicol Bolas as well, probably discarded from the Search for Azcanta. Reliquary Tower from the Azorius player, and then a Windborn Muse, so maybe going for Spirit Tribal here. Unfortunately, we don't have Millicent available to us on MTG Online, and we're probably not going to. This should be going in at Nicol Bolas, and it is, so 6 damage going on to the Nicol Bolas with Geist of Saint Traft and the Angel swinging in. Search for Azcanta triggering again. Keep track of if they actually discard something this time. They do not, so they like what they see on top. And there is a Waste Knot. Only 2 cards left in hand. Cabal Coffers as well. And this time the Haunt of Hightower swings in towards Windborn Muse. They do pay for the attacking tax on that, so yeah, Geist of Saint Traft having to discard. That is an All That Glitters, good one to get rid of. It does put the counter on the Quest of the Nilestone. This only needs 2 counters on it, surprisingly. So you can have that player lose 5 life during their upkeep if they have no cards in hand, which none of us are anywhere near currently. Alright, Phyrexian Tower is good with the Bloodghast, so that will be 2, 4 and 6 mana. So we can just slam down the Grave Titan here, I suppose. Would be nice to have that down with the Panharmonicon, but I think we actually need to start doing something here. And I think Panharmonicon and Grave Titan are as equally scary to have our opponents start swinging into us, so screw it, we'll just go for the Grave Titan. Bloodghast went down there, so the Haunt of Hightower gets even bigger. If we get into a land next turn, we will get the Bloodghast back, so we'll have more sack fodder for the Phyrexian Tower. We should be able to go for the Sheoldred there, which might be able to help deal with this thing. Alila deciding to hold back again. This does have Death Touch, so it's not likely anything will want to swing into that. Myriad Landscape going into the graveyard after a Hall of Heliod's Generosity is played. So once again buffing the Haunt of Hightower. And then Geist of Saint Traft continuing to go into the tapped out Nicol Bolas player. Unfortunately, just keeping them at bay because the Haunt of Hightower does have lifelink, of course. Angrath Flame Chain now, and yeah, gaining control of a creature and sacrificing it. I dare say they're going to do that to Grave Titan, aren't they? Yeah, stealing the Grave Titan away. I mean, we're a reanimator deck at least, so they're not going to keep it out of play forever. And then a Thief of Sanity as well. Wow. They're empty-handed now, but been getting into some really good draws over there. Now, pointing the Haunt of Hightower at us, I knew the Grave Titan would get their attention there. Let's throw away the Villis. Could argue throwing away the Sheoldred there, actually, because then we can reanimate it with the Olivia. Anyway, we're taking a massive hit here because that is 15 damage in total, the Grave Titan and the Haunt of Hightower swinging in at us. So nearly half our life total. Yeah, so just taking a hit for 9 from the Haunt of Hightower, the Grave Titan swinging in towards Alila. They're going to have to sacrifice it anyway, so yeah, surprisingly, Alila going in the way of the Grave Titan. Both of those have Death Touch, so Haunt of Hightower getting even bigger from the creatures dying. Alright, we were getting into the swamp for the Sheoldred anyway. But I think it's a better idea to go for the Olivia. We'll get the Blood Gas back from making landfall. Cruel Ultimatum has been dumped in the graveyard here at some point as well. So let's slam down the Olivia here, which does have haste. Question is, do we go for Grave Titan or Villis here? We'll swing in at the Angrath. Hold the zombie tokens back, I think. Only got one enemy here. We'll go for the Villis, I think, because that will be really good to get some cards going. And that can swing in at the Nicol Bolas player. So taking out the Angrath and knocking our opponent down to 34, but they're about to shoot back up again thanks to the Haunt of Hightower. Hopefully one of these white players can actually deal with the Haunt of Hightower, because I don't think our Sheoldred is going to do it anymore thanks to those zombie tokens. Alila being cast again, so yeah, it's curious that they blocked the Grave Titan in the first place. They just added command attacks on there for no reason. Alright, I'm recasting the Alila. Just wondering if I've misunderstood something with Angrath. Oh, you only sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step if it has mana value 3 or less. Okay, so they would have kept hold of the Grave Titan, instead decided to give it to us, so it was actually a misplay from the Nicol Bolas player, I think. Maybe should have swung that in towards us. A Seraphic Greatsword being played and equipped. So they swing in towards the Nicol Bolas player with now a 4-5 Windborn Muse, get the 4-4 Angel as well. And the Nicol Bolas player decides to take it, so once again, Haunt of Hightower being allowed to stay in play. They are empty-handed, but how much damage can that thing do before they get bullied out of the game here? Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, comes down, and each opponent has to discard, so we can go for Sheoldred, I suppose, with the Olivia. Yeah, I think that's the most intelligent play there, because we can't access the other two cards out of the bin. A Blazing Spectre has ended up in the bin as well from the Search for Azcanta. I think the Villis might dissuade our opponent from swinging in at us with the Haunt of Hightower, because we will end up drawing a hell of a lot of cards if that thing hits us. It's going to get buffed here from everyone discarding cards. A Serapha Sky's Blade here, and then a Tithe was discarded by the Azorius player. Waste Not makes some tokens, and they drew a card there as well, so up to 2 in hand. Oof, and there's a Raider's Wake. That's pretty scary, so yeah, whenever an opponent discards a card, lose 2 life. And then if you attack this turn, a target opponent discards a card, so oh, they are coming in at us with the Haunt of Hightower. We're going to have some discard fodder at least. Let's get rid of Panharmonicon then. We'll lose 2 life to that. That will draw us cards with the Villis. So we get into some more lands, and then we take a hit for 15 lifelink, so going down to 10. We are going to draw a massive amount of cards here though. So what can we do? No board wipe, amazingly. So we have to discard again. Let's just get rid of a Polluted Delta. And once again, that triggers all of the black player's stuff. Okay, so we've got mana, we've got some Reanimator. We can go for the Sheoldred, I suppose. Not sure how useful the Shriekmaw really is here. Dockside Extortionist will make us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 treasures, I think. Then we could reanimate it as well. Don't actually have a sack outlet yet. Let's risk a Mana Crypt first of all. Play out the Dockside Extortionist. And that does get us 9 treasure tokens. We could Shriekmaw our own Dockside Extortionist, I suppose. Could just sacrifice it with the Phyrexian Tower as well. Well, I think we definitely want to go for Bedevil onto the Haunt of Hightower. So let's do that. And then do we want to reanimate everything here? This is creatures with flying indestructible. That's actually relevant with our board state, especially with a Haunt of Hightower. Yeah, that might actually be worth doing. So let's sacrifice the Dockside Extortionist. We can reanimate that with the Rise of the Dark Realms as well. So Rise of the Dark Realms being cast, and that does land, so now we've got some indestructible flyers. The Grave Titan comes back and gives us a couple of zombies. We get 9 more treasure tokens from the Dockside Extortionist. Now I suppose we could have gone Entomb there as well, couldn't we? Forgot about that. Could Entomb something now though. I definitely want Swiftfoot Boots on the Haunt of Hightower, because we're desperate to gain some life here. And then we'll go for Entomb onto something. How's about Kakusho? Sounds like a good idea for some more life gain. We've got Gear Hulk as well. Yeah, we could blow up the Nicol Bolas before it becomes too much of an issue. So yeah, let's go for the Noxious Gear Hulk. And then we need to swing in with Olivia. We need to swing in with the Haunt of Hightower. I think we can pretty much leave everything else back. Do we want to go in with Villis as well? Yeah, we've got this for Indestructible. Yeah, we'll take that in as well, because then we could try and have them discard a card. So yeah, we'll turn in sideways like this. Would be good to get another Legendary Vampire into play so that we're not going to lose all this stuff we're reanimating. But Haunt of Hightower has them discard. This might have them discard as well, so they go down to 0 cards in hand. The Olivia triggers and gets the Gear Hulk back. We'll have the Gear Hulk come down attacking the Alila, so they can block that with the Death Toucher if they want to. And with the trigger from the Gear Hulk, we'll blow up the Nicol Bolas, get that out of the way of blocking. So then that goes to the bin before hitting the command zone, so already getting buffs on Haunt of Hightower. So looks like they're just letting everything through, so Blazing Spectre, gonna have them discard as well, like we said. They discarded a Night Veil Spectre previously, and then the last card was a Shrieking Affliction. And I think it might be worth overloading a Vandal Blast here. We go up to 17. Need to be careful how much we're discarding because of this thing, because we don't have an infinite hand size, unfortunately. So let's just drop the Strip Mine, put that into play. We can evoke Shriekmaw on this thing to encourage people to swing in there more liberally. Just trying not to discard too many cards at this point, because I'm not sure we're gaining quite enough life to survive that enchantment. I suppose we could have put Malakir Reborn on the Shriekmaw to bring it back in there. Go for the Animate Dead, and could get back our own Shriekmaw here. I think I like getting a flyer, so we'll go for the Night Veil, because that does have Indestructible thanks to the Serapher. And then it would be nice to overload the Vandal Blast, but that would only leave us with 1 mana. Yeah, really, I just want to discard the least amount of cards possible, so let's go for the Lightning Greaves on Alila's side of the field with Vandal Blast. Drop a Solemn Simulacrum as well, get us a little bit more mana. And then we're only discarding 2 cards as it stands now, so let's put the Swiftfoot Boots onto the Crimson Bride, and we'll pass it at that, I think. We've still got the Malakir Rebirth this way at least for when we sacrifice the Dockside Extortionist next turn, so yeah, that's alright, I think. Let's just get rid of these 2 lands and pass. Pretty huge turn for us there. We just need to hope that no one is able to wipe the board. Some mana being made by the Waste Knot. More counters on the quest for the Nile Stone. Doesn't really matter. And then, like I said, we lose 4 life to the Raider's Wake, which is the whole thing I was playing around there. Oh, and we lose life to the Raider's Wake, which means... yeah. Is that an infinite loop, actually? Villis might kill us off here. I think that's actually an infinite loop after playing through all that. Yeah, can't sacrifice the Villis, unfortunately. The only sack outlet we've got into is the Phyrexian Tower. Yeah, didn't see that coming. It's a shame that, because we had a really big turn there. And there we are, there's the Altar of Dementia. Could do with that right now. Could have Chaos Warped on our own Villis as well. But unfortunately, the discard player's going to get us here. I think it's a really cool game for us to show regardless, though. I will revisit the Olivia deck, so... be sure to subscribe and keep up to date with all the latest from the channel if you want to see that. Hopefully won't make a game-losing mistake like this again. So a bunch of Waste Knot triggers going on the stack here, and obviously it's the Raider's Wake that we need to be worrying about. See which cards we draw into out of curiosity. There is that Kakusho. Yeah, I thought we'd just about managed to survive there, but unfortunately not. Our opponent's still at a fairly decent life total. I think the game might go on for a while yet, thanks to the Haunt of Hightower going down. Anyway, Nicol Bolas going up to 4 cards in hand. Ethereum Sculptor, the first artifact, being played into the Alila. Alila much more fragile now that the Lightning Greaves is in the bin. And then an All That Glitters. I'm sure they'd really love to have the Lightning Greaves available to them now. Not too many artifacts in play for them though. She jumps up to a 5/6. And this time deciding to swing in, going in at the Nicol Bolas player. And a little bit of Inception stuff going on there. Invocation of Saint Traft, going on to the Geist of Saint Traft. And then equipping that up with the sword as well, so I'm going to swing in and make a bunch of angels here. I won't necessarily want to swing in, actually. I don't think it has any kind of keywords. No, just a 4/4 with hexproof. Still swinging in, though. Going in at the Alila player. And then Geist of Saint Traft making a heap of angels here. The angels swing in at Nicol Bolas. Yeah, so it looks as though an understanding's been reached here. The fairy token just going in the way of the Geist of Saint Traft, not throwing both fairies in the way to kill the commander off. So that means a bunch of angels can continue to swing in at the Nicol Bolas player, assuming that they don't get a bunch of flyers into play. Nicol Bolas might be looking to wipe the board here, turning everything in towards the Geist of Saint Traft player. That is 16 damage, I think. And the Thief of Sanity does hit them as well. And of course, they got a Cyclonic Rift. The look from this Nicol Bolas player has been unreal. Yeah, they got Cyclonic Rift from the Geist of Saint Traft player, so that bounces all their stuff back to hand, as we all know. So Nicol Bolas is still in this one. The Raider's Wake was pointed at the Geist of Saint Traft player as well, so Seraphic Greatsword was discarded. Alright, Sigil of the Empty Throne, so whenever you cast an enchantment, get a 4/4 angel. And then there's the Ethereum Sculptor, so not too worried about getting their Alila out first, apparently. They can go for Alila and the All That Glitters next turn, and that will make an angel for them. Rogue's Passage in play now, which could be relevant. Geist of Saint Traft entering the fray. And then the Invocation of Saint Traft going back on there. And a Lightning Greaves, alright, so that has haste now. So can start pushing through some damage straight away after the board wipe. So that's going to be 10 damage onto Nicol Bolas, assuming that both these angels go in there as well. And yep, knocking them down to 4 here. Only one card in hand for the Geist of Saint Traft. Azcanta has been turned into the Sunken Ruin now, so they've got one land, they can get some card advantage with that. Not worthy that. Can't keep the graveyards open. A Vesuva is in the bin, and there's a Neheb as well. Yeah, the creature Neheb the Worthy. Now turning everything in towards the Geist of Saint Traft player again, so that should be them done. Knocking them down to 0 exactly. And they are down to 1 because they've got that Mana Crypt in play, so it's probably the Alila players to win here. Throwing Nicol Bolas into play again, so we're going to have to discard from the Nicol Bolas and then discard from the enchantment as well. So probably keeping hold of All That Glitters, I would think. The problem is Alila. Okay, and amazingly, yeah, that's the Nicol Bolas player has won there. So Alila deciding to scoop it up. They did discard their Alila. That would have cost 8 to get out of the bin. I was going to say, I assume they keep hold of All That Glitters. Play out Alila next turn, and then the turn after that, All That Glitters. And I think they can survive long enough to either have the Mana Crypt kill them or just go wide on them with fairies or something. Yeah, surprised to see a scoop there, but there we are. I think that was a really fun game. I made an error there, obviously, and threw the game away. I'll probably see during the edit. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if I could have sacrificed Vilis any other way other than the Phyrexian Tower. Yeah, I'm sure there's something else that I could have done there, but genuinely didn't see that. But hopefully you all enjoyed it anyway. That was a really fun one. I enjoyed it. If you want to see more from Olivia, Crimson Bride, then be sure to let me know. Leave the video a thumbs up and subscribe, and consider donating on Patreon for names in the credits, as well as a video dedication if you donate enough. Big thank you to you if you decide to do that, and a massive thank you to the patrons that are already subscribed. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.